Okay, I'm going to cover the handles that I make. Make 4 different ones. Make a 16-inch with a 5/8 receiver in it. Make a 16-inch with a 1/2-inch receiver in it. Make a 12-inch with a 1/2-inch receiver. And an 8-inch with a 1/2-inch receiver. I make 2 different adapters here. This one here goes from 5/8 to 1/2-inch. It'll fit that handle. This one here goes from 1/2-inch to 3/8. These combinations fit all of my handles. They'll just fit everything that I have. These are the knobs. I make these quick change knobs. They're not on my website yet, but they will be up there. I use these a lot because they're just fast for me. I can just take a tool in and out. And I can change them back and forth. The 16-inch handles have a knob here in the end. If you want to add weight to it, you certainly can. It's drilled down to about here. The other end's drilled down to about here. There's a space in the middle where there's aluminum in there. So when you take the gouge out, the shot doesn't fall out the other end. These are machined out of a solid piece of 6061 aluminum. It's a solid piece. It's not two little pieces in the end. This hose that I have on here is really tough. I've tested it with all kinds of chemicals and everything else. It feels nice and warm in the mornings, and it's not cold. It's tough stuff. If you want to make a longer handle with these than 16-inch, you can take this, just take a 1/2-inch bolt, cut it off, screw this in the end, like that. You can take a handle like this, slip it over there. Now you wind up with a handle that's that long, or you can add an 8-inch to it. If you take the knob out, just tighten up the set screws. You have as long a handle as you want. I don't know why you'd need something much longer than that. So I don't use anything over 16-inch, but some people do like longer ones. So they come with, when you buy them from me, they'll come with stainless steel set screws in them. I kind of like the stainless because I turn a lot of green wood. It doesn't rust or anything. Kind of see what's in there. Stainless steel set screws. The way the adapter works, it just goes in and out like this. It's got 2 holes drilled in it. And that's the way they work. Okay. Anyway, that's my handles. Okay, the tools that I make with the rectangular shank down here, they'll fit in my handles also. They just go in here like this. You tighten them in there like that. You want to go against this edge here. You don't want to go against this edge. You can, with the 2 set screws is the way they come. My parting tool, I would do it the same way. Goes in there just like that. Works fine. Skew, same way. Goes in there this way. So that's how I use them, the rectangular shank tools in my handles. This one here would fit this handle. These here would fit the 16-inch handle with a 1/2-inch receiver. The only thing that is the 5/8 is the 5/8 bowl gouge. My roughing gouge, it goes in this handle like this, or it goes in the 12 or the 16 also. Most of my spindle work I use this short handle. When I'm doing spindle work, it's always right in front of me. There's smaller cuts, so I haven't figured out why I would need this to do spindle work. It's all right in front of me. I don't need all this sticking back here. It gets in the way of my anti-vibration tool here anyway, so that's why I use the shorter handles. Depending upon the size lathe you have, if you're working on a mini lathe, there's no reason that I can think of why you would need a 16-inch handle. You would want to go towards either the 12 or the 8 shorter handles for all your tools. because the ways of the lathe and just the amount of power that they have, there's no reason why you would need a 16-inch angle. If you figure on sometime you're going to move up to a bigger lathe, then you might want to invest in a longer handle. You know, it's kind of up to you there, but you want to take in consideration the size of the lathe you have when you're buying anybody's handles, whether it's mine or anybody else's. So, okay, done with that. Thanks. Okay, well, fall's here, and that's the time when I rough out molds. And obviously somebody's going to ask me about what's on this table here. There's some cherry bowls back there. I core most all of them, and this is Madrona here. These I turned, I don't know, it was a couple weeks ago. They're kind of drying out a little bit now here. I leave them up here on this table so I can babysit them a little bit, make sure I don't get any cracks or checks in them. And then they go down to the floor like these are down here on the floor. And they dry a little bit slower down there. If you notice, I got them stacked with the rim down. I kind of like that better. I think the rim don't dry out quite as fast. I don't know if it's because of the gravity of the moisture, whatever it is, but they seem to do better down there. The one thing I do with these bowls, if you notice, I radius these edges here and I radius these edges here, because if you leave a real sharp edge here, this is where it's going to dry out first, and that's where it's going to start to crack on you. These here were all cored out. I actually date them on the back. These Madrone were boiled. And I'll leave these dry. These will probably dry for a year or so, because I have another 500 of them out there in that other building, or I don't know how many's out there. So I don't worry about when these are dry. I go out there and get some of those that are 2 years old. And if they ain't dry by now, then they ain't going to be. If they ain't dry in 2 years, they're never going to be dry. So I just don't worry about these. People always say, well, how do you know when they're dry? Well, after 2 years, I think they're dry. So that's basically how I base it on. I don't worry about these right here. These will go to the end of the line, and the other ones that are out there will come up to here. So that's, you don't have to email me about them. That's with them, and they're just sitting there in that position. And I'm going to show you back here. This is some of the stuff that we were grinding back here. You kind of see how you can clean up with a magnet. It's not a very good one, but it picks up all that stuff. Because all it is metal that come off your gouges, off your tools. So